following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
The last great Coliseum is a place that they like to call Bristol Motor Speedway, and, well, we get to fight that Coliseum tonight as we go racing 180 laps of Cup racing after a week off, unexpectedly, mind you. But we're ready to go here from Bristol Motor Speedway, virtually on iRacing. It is round number 4 of the Sim500 NC811.org Cup Series season. I am the captain, of course, being joined by Kevin England, fresh off of his week off that he unexpectedly got. We were supposed to go to Homestead, but unfortunately the updates and a couple other things have gotten in the way of the league race and stuff. But we're here tonight. We're ready to go. Setups look good. Racing's going to look good here at Bristol, and we're going to be in for a battle here tonight.
You didn't go to Homestead? I was in Homestead. It was really nice. A couple of Mai Tais and...
As far as I'm concerned, anywhere I can stay away from Florida outside of iRacing, we're good.
I hear you. You know, we're going to have a good time here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. I've run this track a couple times this week, and I'm going to make a weird prediction just to start. I think we're going to see a lot of green flag racing tonight. I think the setup is perfect. I think the track is... We're going to have a blast in the context of try to get through the corner. This place is all about getting through the corner into the straightaway, and you can really rough them up in here, Chris, and I think we're going to see some great racing, and we're going to see some colossal crashing.
We got 41 cars right now that have shown up. A couple have not run a lap yet. We've got some cars out here that have run over 160 laps in this practice session that is less than an hour in. So, I mean, that's almost a full run on fuel, if not more, in this practice session. But needless to say, this racetrack produces some of the great racing. Are we going to see tire fall off in this race? More than likely. Are we going to see it like we did yesterday? No. Well, maybe, but you won't see the tire, dying after 40 laps. But needless to say, we got a great battle on our hands, and the point standings right now looking pretty sporty after Anthony Calantoni's upset win last week, or 2 weeks ago in Vegas. Kevin King leading right now over Cody Giles by all of 3 points. Mark Jorgensen, his third. Joe Hudson, fourth. Chad Coleman, fifth. You see Tyler Dalton, the big gainer last week, up 21 to 10th, and Calantoni there also. And look down there at 30th. Wesley Donaldson, who has had his struggles and even has a win. That just showed you how helter-skelter his season has been as he has gone from the top of the mountain, which was that win, of course, in the dual race, and then all the way down here, not to mention the Atlanta win too, down to 30th where he is after a couple bad finishes. So we look to see him getting up there. A reminder, 20 cars make the playoffs, and it's straight up how many starts you make. However, you cannot miss more than 4 races. So that is how this one is set up. So point standings wise, still plenty of time though to set that up. One factor that can come into play as we look on the screen here, Kev, you see that little blue line? It's kind
Yes,
of,
sir.
I mean, we see it, and we see it on the stream, but in real life, it's really not there. That there means that we have one pit road this evening. They have to enter over here where this yellow car is, and they have to exit down here where I think that's Kevin Stone leaving pit road.
I think it's pretty tricky trying to figure out when you're going around this. They describe it as a fighter jet in a gym. And it's apropos. It's really hard when you're trying to hit your marks, find your place on the racetrack, pick up the throttle and all that to figure out which end of the racetrack you're in. Because really, you're so short on the straightaway that when you're turning in, it looks very similar. And I have to say that blue line is pretty easy to spot. And if you start to turn down and you spot the blue line, you got to go one more corner. So I think kudos to them for putting that in. It really did simplify. I can't tell you how many times I messed it up, but one of the things, Chris, that you have to talk about here is if we do see pit stops, even under caution to fix damage, if you're in the back of the pack, you pull in, go to fix your damage, you only got seconds and a pace car is back around. So not a place you want to get damage, but a place where you can find damage very quickly as qualifying takes to the track. Let's see where these guys end up here. Is Joey Jatina injured his shoulder.
Oh, no.
Driving one arm here tonight. How about a place to pick where you're driving with one arm?
Wow, that's going to be a challenge for him. Hope he's feeling all right. But Eric Arnold right now on the pole. 14:74 right now is his fast time as he's all done and wrecking the 31 car off of turn 2. Lap time is going to go really quickly here. Justin Fuller jumps to the top after his win last night in Dover. Of course, this is a half-mile version of Dover with a 14:72 on lap 1, and he goes around over in turn 3 and 4 and calls it a lap. How about the Vegas winner? Fresh off his visit to Bristol Motor Speedway in the race yesterday. And that is Anthony Calantoni here in this 84 car. He brings it through 3 and 4 onto the back straightaway. Another way, by the way, to tell the pit road situation for you. Best way, look for the start-finish line. Because the start-finish line is the front straightaway. You obviously come to the back straightaway. That's where you come down pit road. As Calantoni, P10 right now, 14:81.
One of the lines that we're going to see here is top to bottom, top all the way around, bottom all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
And so these drivers have quite a few options when trying to figure out how to navigate the corner. And, well, this is the age-old complexion of driving Bristol. Hard off the corner, and you let off mid straightaway and let the car roll down. And I believe you're going to see tire problems here. Right front tire wear. If you drive the car in too hard, I think some of these guys are, like yesterday, the real world, going to see a lot of tire problems here tonight. This car, in this setup, in this configuration, shows a lot of tire wear after about 8 to 10 laps.
Tyler Dalton, 14:70 with an 8. P2 behind Kevin King, who ran a 70 with a 4.
He did not have a lot of confidence, Tyler, coming out here. He was joking that he was going to be deep in the middle of the pack, so he's going to be happy with that time. May not have popped a pole like he's used to, but front row starting spot might be in the cards for the number 19 tonight.
Needless to say, Brian Macklin goes up to the 14:71. The next pole, by the way, for Tyler Dalton will put him at 195 and leave him only 5 short of 200 in Sim500. As here is Donnie Leah, the Mobile 1 number 20. Down the back straightaway here, we still got about a minute and a half of qualifying. Got to remember, these laps are so quick here, you can get a lap done and sit back here for a minute.
Simile on the racetrack, running around. 8th starting spot right now for Donnie Leah, with Simile running 9th. Those are 2 on the racetrack.
And Leah got across the line this time and goes, well, he stays where he is, but speeds up about 100th of a second, 14:74. So, something else takes place. There's only one car on track now to run 2 laps here, and it's Richard Beasley now in this WBD diecast Tide Ride, if you will, or whatever the nickname of this car will be. 31st fastest, 14:95. You see him through 3 and 4, coming back over to the start-finish line.
Be curious to see how Mr. Super Speedway does on a short track like Bristol.
27th. Yikes.
Woo!
Yeah, no kidding, right? All right, let's step away real quick for the national anthem, get the warm up through. We'll try to get a word with Kevin King real quick, and we will come back for the start here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Stand by.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, back we are here as warm-up just wrapping up. I know they're going through their driver meeting at the moment as we get ready to rock and roll. And, of course, our pole award presented by A11. Know it's below and call before you dig. And our pole sitter tonight, Kev, is another Kevin as he looks to, well, find that little bit he needs to get over the hump, and that being Kevin King, who qualifies on the pole. I'm looking. I don't even think Kevin's in Discord here, or else I was going to have a word with him. But needless to say, Kevin King going to be on the pole here this evening as the car's grid. So let's just jump to the starting lineup here from the Coliseum here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And let's start with the pole sitter, of course, being Kevin King. He is in the 29 car, and starting alongside him going to be Tyler Dalton in row number 1. Row 2, Brian Macklin, Justin Fuller. You see Macklin missing the pole by 5/1000ths of a second. Glenn Campbell, Cody Giles continues his rookie season with a pretty big 6th place start there in that 5 car. Eric Arnold, Donnie Leah in row 4. Row 5, Scott Simley and Mark Jorgensen there in the 10th position.
Anthony Calantoni in the 84 is going to start in the 11th position. And, yeah, of course, as soon as I say that, they start spinning around here. Randy Yoakum, David Comstock, Mike Kelly in 14th, Joe Hudson 15th, Nelson Rivera 16th starting spot tonight. And Nick Jobs starts 17th. 18th is going to be Stoney Benfield. Patrick Colby starting 19th. 20th, Rod Mitten. And then you have Justin Mons, Chad Coleman, Bobby Wetzel, Robert Friery III, Charles Van Schaik, Jose Gonzalez, Kevin Stone, Brandon Masty. First start for him in the number 65. He's going to start in the 31st position. Scott Stenzel, Jose Medina. It'll be Joey Jatina, Mike Montesi, Josh Parker, E.J. O'Rourke, Matt Ralalesso, and Doug Sigmund, with Gerald Livingston starting shotgun on the field. 41 cars are packing in here tonight. Oh, nope, sorry. 42 forgot Patrick Blundell. 42 cars on a Bristol Motor Speedway. That is what you call a full stack, Chris.
As they come to the green flag, 180 laps, 3 sets of tires, 2 overtimes, and a partridge in a, well, Coliseum. As we get ready to go green, it's race 4 at Sim500's NCAA11 Cup Series from Bristol.
Somehow I skipped the 30th starting spot. That is Brian Wertman in the number 74. Say roll for lap number 1. I was looking at the SDK, which was bouncing around as they were not holding their positions, but
it happens.
out front,
Tyler Dalton.
To start the thing off and just trying to get those tires up to temperature and make sure they get things going. It's Tyler Dalton over Justin Fuller, who jumps to second here in the early going, dropping King to third. Cody Giles and Brian Macklin round out your top 5.
Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. You mentioned Dalton pulling away there. The first battles right back here were Giles and Kevin King are side by side. Donnie Leah, Brian Macklin, a whole cluster of cars right back here. Patience going to play a virtue here. And you mentioned earlier, Kev, tires. How are we going to be able to save them? Now, you're not going to see like yesterday where people look like landmines out in the middle of the track because they're blowing tires and stuff like that. But we are going to see people come and go through the field as these cars wear out. Oh, Holyfield is going around. Caution. Ron Holyfield over here in turn one of them.
Turn 1. He's going to hold his position. He's going to lose a lap as the field rolls by. But thankfully, he's up on the banking, just holding his brakes until everybody gets by and he can get through safely. Difficult thing to do, 26-30 degree banking that we have.
You mentioned Brandon Massey in the 65 car. If that is the same Brandon Massey I know, I believe he ran over another series I used to broadcast back in the heyday. Let's see what happens to Holyfield here. He's running by himself on the bottom. Oh, he gets a little loose there off the corner and overcorrects it, slides up the track, and Gerald Livingston just misses him. I mean, that could have been a lot worse. Yeah.
You know, it's difficult to go for that kind of slide at this racetrack and not hit something, so good on him. He'll live to fight another day.
No kidding on that. That Code Brown moment if I've ever seen one here.
That's a veteran move. You see what he did was pull the nose up and let everybody go by cleanly. How many times do you see the incident occur where somebody gets tagged while they're sitting in the racetrack? He pulled himself up out of harm's way there and waited for the field to go by. Cost him a lap, and not uncommon here when you squeeze that throttle down coming up out of the corner, especially if you catch the apron, that the car will step out for you. And unfortunately for Ron, cold tires, early laps, and maybe he did get a piece of that apron there.
Easy to have too much wheel coming out of the corner too, as you're trying to. Yeah, you want to try to drive it straight off, but I mean, all these cars are getting close. But you want to try to drive it straight off the corner, but obviously with these colder tires, it's easier said than done. And there goes everybody. I'm sure there's 3 or 4 people, unfortunately, laughing at Ron, but it happens. So 8 laps in the books.
This racetrack's complicated to race. I mean, it's just hard to ride around here under caution, no joke. So, I was running NIS last night and I watched people crash under caution.
Sounds about right.
So yeah, it's a funny thing to come, but it's not out of character. So I have a Tyler Dalton right now leading all the laps. Lap 8, got out to a good run in the beginning, was able to keep pace, and I don't know that clean air matters, but it is nice to be able to pick your line and not worry about looking in the rearview mirror when you step out to a lead like Tyler had.
No, and he obviously had a pretty nice lead, but you got to be careful. You got to balance out wearing out those tires, minus getting out there and being able to run a full run. And because, I mean, we're already, even at lap 10 of this race, you have to wonder, is there any possibility that you could go without pitting in this race? I know that sounds completely idiotic to say right now, but 170 laps to go. And if you get a couple of early cautions here and then you go green the rest of the way, you never know.
No. I'm not buying it.
I'm throwing a possibility out there right now. I know it's crazy. But I've said worse.
We'll let you get your crazy on there.
Woohoo! All right, Dalton leads it back to the green. Lap number 10 takes the outside lane, which will be the familiar lane that everybody will take tonight. Let's see if he can maintain as Fuller sends it down there in the turn 2, and he's going to take the lead away from Dalton. So you might look at that and say maybe that wasn't such a good idea, but normally the outside lane is the way to go around this track.
Yeah, incident over here out of turn number 4. 8-car Randy Yoakum around down against the inside wall as we go back to caution.
Yeah, lap 11, Randy Yoakum going for a wee off turn 2.
Maybe the 23 had a piece of that. I didn't really catch it all except the tail end of it.
The good news here is this: the first 2 cautions have still nowhere close to the amount of cars we had in last night's wreck. So we still have to find 18 other cars to get involved, to get the 21 that were involved in the first caution last night. Oh yeah, 23 gets in the 8 and gets helped out with that red car. Let's see who that red car is. Is that Medina? No. I'll find out who that red car is. But
that would be Chad Coleman in the 38.
That's right. Coleman's got that racing stripe. I keep forgetting that. So Coleman center punch. No, that's not him. It was. We'll find out.
He was the other red car.
It's the other red car. Yeah, so we'll look at the replay one more again here.
Bobby Wetzel.
I think that might be who it is here. So.
Yeah, they're the only 2 that were back there. Yeah, Bobby Wetzel popped them. That's who it was. I wonder if Bobby got... Well, he hit him square with the front end, but I would imagine that maybe Randy had a hit to that left rear.
Right. Well, either way, second caution out here on lap number 11. And it should be a pretty quick yellow here, and we'll get back to green, but... I mean, what if we have a race that starts like this, Kev? Where do you be that first car that comes to pit road?
Well, we know that generally you can run about 40 laps and then you'll be looking for tires. So I think it's a little early to give up any track position. If you're out in the back, you might top off a little bit and get yourself clear. But I don't know, just with the laps we ran under caution, half the distance so far, I think these guys will just stay out and wait. It's still relatively early.
It is early, obviously, and tire wear going to play a role. I think you just got to play it by ear, in my opinion. But eventually, you got to try to jump and get the track position. If you're back where like Josh Parker is in 31st, you've gained some spots, but you got 2 early cautions here, and as you predicted earlier, and I agree with you. You got to think that more green flag racing is going to be coming here very quickly here as we see the 21 that has no nose. That being EJ O'Rourke. Yeah.
I just saw a crash here.
Oh no! Under caution?
Yeah, the 25 of Nick Jobs came around and got clipped by the 23. Ended up banging the wall, rolled that one back, and
oh boy!
Footage.
Justin Mons get a piece of this. What? Oh, never mind. That's a whole nother.
I think Jobs is the lucky dog who was coming around.
Yeah, he was a lucky dog. Comes around here.
Kind of sneaks up here and tags him right about. Well, I don't know where you're.
Eric Arnold,
right
we're good across.
He's going around the corner.
There's the front of the field here. Watch out for the pace car.
It's a little back further than that. Unless you got him coming around the other way. Yeah, he came off of turn 2, the backstretch, and when they were exiting turn 3, or entering turn 3, he got tagged.
As the green flag comes back, I'll have to go back to that replay here, but green flag is out. Fuller gets a good restart there ahead of Donnie Leah, who moves up to second. So Dalton having a rough time on the restarts up there on the top side.
Well, I tell you, we just almost had it there with the 43 of Joe Hudson. He was flat sideways, 90-degree yaw, and somehow pulled it back straight, grabbed a gear, and drove out of it, currently sitting in that 37th position. This is where I think they just take a breath, right, Chris? If they just settle out, give some space in front of them, get some rhythm, some mojo going, and then they can start to pick up where they're going to gain and go past.
Yeah, let these tires get heated up, get into a rhythm, run laps. Bristol's a rhythm. I know that sounds weird, but it is such a rhythm. Most short tracks are. And you just got to get in there and you got to log laps right now. Get yourself into a situation, figure out where you're at, keep yourself clear of other cars, and then just get going. And that's exactly what I think you're starting to see here as Fuller's pulled away to about 3/10 over Donnie Leah right now. Tyler Dalton and Cody Giles looks like they're going to battle for third. And here comes the Vegas winner, Anthony Calantoni.
Big stack up in the middle of the field. Kevin Stone got sideways. Everybody grabbed a brake and slowed down. It stacked everybody up back about the 20th position, and Stone was able to, again, turn it back into the banking and drive out of it. We remain green here at Bristol.
24 laps complete is great save there on their part as Kevin King, also another car falling back here. As I notice, he's all the way back now to the 10th position under attack from Nelson Rivera. So the pole sitter, not sure if he's in a tire conservation mode or if he's just trying to put himself in the right place right now. But on that inside lane, has fallen all the way back here. It's like moments everywhere out here on this track right now. Is I think Dalton just scrubbed the wall. If not, the leader did too.
I think that's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer there for Kevin King. You hit it right on the nose. He's going to just ride around here. He knows that in 20 to 30 laps, he's going to march his way back in here. If you run these tires hard when they're cold, you're going to pay the price in the long run. And right now, I think this is where the drivers figure out. I'm going to just stay low, hold the low line. I'm going to stay high, 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 high. Don't come down, don't swing down. And then when they get space, they'll drive in high, ride around the high line till about center, and then turn down the bank and drive off and extend the straightaway and find their speed. But I think right now everybody's just kind of maintaining their lower high line until they can get into open space, and then they can drive the way they want. And this is the kind of rhythm I would anticipate we're going to get in.
The 29 laps complete as we watch the battle here on the screen between Rivera and Giles. Giles falling back to the 8th position right now. Otherwise, now we're starting to get into that moment. No, by the way, Donnie Leah has jumped to the front. He got around Fuller at lap number 28. And just for seeing the pass here real
A
quickly.
little
as you see
sideways up here off the corner as he was coming through. Car stepped out on him, but he kept his foot planted in it. Right, just skipped right from it. But right there, the car stepped out, but he was able to get the drive off and power on by. And Donnie Leah becomes our third leader here tonight.
Yeah, great pass there by Donnie as he starts to kind of stretch it out here. 0.6 of a second already. And if anyone's good at keeping the rear tires on a car, you're looking at him right there in that 20 car, because what do you do in modifieds, Kev? You keep the rears on them.
Yes, you do. Well, and I like what he's doing. He's holding the high line, which is not stressing the tires. He's just rolling the rim. I'm looking at that number 2 car lurking back there in the 5th position. Quietly putting together a pretty good season. 1 win on the season so far. He's got 1 top 5. 1 top 10, and right now 5 bonus points. He and Calantoni are the drivers that have picked up the most bonus points. And how do you get bonus points, Chris? You run up front. And you win. Right now everybody just kind of spaced out, found their space on the racetrack. This is the type of racing we were anticipating. Every once in a while, somebody's going to step up and mount the challenge. One sideways, Calantoni down into the... Wow.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
He was down there reading the Food City.
Yeah, great catch on his part. And I was actually starting to talk with the microphone. I got to remember when I tap this thing, sometimes it shuts off or whatever. But yeah, Mike Kelly, obviously, he's having a fantastic season. Of course, winning at Daytona earlier this season. He's been consistent. Unfortunately here he's had some bad luck here the last week or so, but tonight running right here in the 5th position at a track that, if I remember correctly off the record, he runs pretty well at. But right now, the guy who's not so running well, up this 29 car back here, 10th position, and Kev is under attack now. Scott Simley looking to his top side here.
Yeah, maybe I've read the situation wrong, and this is not the Kevin King kind of racetrack, but I really do think that these guys will run long, and if he's taking care of his stuff, it won't be long before you see him just start shitting his way forward.
Which makes you wonder, does that bring the bottom line into play if that's the case? Because eventually, as the tires wear, track's going to move up, and everybody's going to be up across the boards here. As you see Giles falling back now, the 92 back there behind them of Rod Mitten. He's got the new Beast paint scheme that you see from Tyler Reddick there on that car. But you see the 5 getting a little loose, but eventually the only place you're going to be able to pass if you're going to try it's going to be on the bottom.
Yeah, I think you can work your way to the back bumper, come up high, and turn the car down and try and drive alongside. And then you're stuck in no man's land running the bottom for 3 or 4 laps, hoping that your car is a little better than theirs, and you'll be able to inch to get alongside. And ideally, you'll drive it up out of the corner hard and pull up across to that outside lane and close off and seal the deal.
So I'm just checking actually on Mike Kelly just to verify. He finished 21st in this race last season, but had an average running spot of 7th. So he ran up in the front most of the race, but unfortunately some things happened. He did finish 9th, though, in the fall race here back in October was when that race was ran. That race had actually 7 cautions in it. The race here at Bristol last season actually won by Derek Myers early in the season, so there's a name we haven't said in a long time. Now, so that race has lost my mind. There it is. Here it is. That one went to overtime, believe it or not. Had 17 cautions in it, so that's Bristol.
Just looking through the pack, who's moving, who's falling. Glenn Campbell down 11 positions, running 16th, and just a couple slots behind him. Mister, I'm coming from the back, up 18 to the 20th position is Josh Parker, running kind of by himself out there right now, not gaining too much on the cars in front of him. Up 12 is Nelson Rivera to 4th, having a good run in his Ford. And for the most part, most of them have stayed status quo there. In fact, Scott Stimley in the 12 started 9th and still running 9th.
Yeah. Matt Rodalissa, another name we'll give a shout out to, started 39th up to 26th right now. I know it's still deep in the field, but still being able to gain that kind of track position in that 49 car. Good job on his part. So, hey, let's step away for a quick second. Let's hear from 811. Come back and get you more racing here from Bristol on the Captain Esports Network.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
Protect the ones you love and call 811 before you dig. And again, thoughts and prayers as Mike Kelly knocks the wall down over in 1 and 2 there. Thoughts and prayers with those involved in the storms this past week. Of course, right down the road here from where I live, a very popular, well, they call themselves the world's fastest half mile, Winchester Speedway, that unfortunately took a brunt of the tornado. Thankfully, not the Speedway, but the town took the worst of it. The Speedway didn't really get anything from it. So thoughts and prayers with that small town over here in Indiana, and of course the areas of Ohio and Indiana that got hit pretty good there. Pretty intense right here. Kelly looking underneath Rivera. Calantoni, who scrapes the wall a little bit there with Kevin King on his inside.
Yeah, speaking of the storm, boy, these guys are really mixing it up. And King came from 13th in tags. Kelly, the two of them get together and trade a little paint.
Well, you were almost right on cue.
120 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway. Excuse me, I want this piece of the racetrack.
Right. You were almost right on cue with the King kind of saving his tires, and that's exactly what he's done, and now has moved to the 6th position here. As you see Calantoni going to go around in Rivera for 4th. And you got to be careful because, believe it or not, that little wall scrape that you see some of these cars doing in the middle of the corner doesn't hurt your car. I know it's kind of weird, but of course, doing that, you get those naysayers out there like, oh, you're just wall riding, like Ross Chastain, and you know, you get the protest word coming out and all that different stuff. I mean, come on.
Well, there's a period of running this race where you don't do it intentionally, but you run in hard in order to try and chase the car down in front of you. And in the middle of the corner, you push up and you just get that little boom.
Right.
And it actually deflects you down unless you turn down the banking. And I try not to do it on purpose, but yet I find myself occasionally getting in this rhythm when I'm trying to run someone down of finding that happening. Is they've run into some lapped traffic here, and that is going to play a factor. We're now 32 drivers off of the lead lap. 31 is, well, Charles Van Schaik just got lapped, so Joe Hudson running 30th, last car on the lead lap, and that's going to stack up this front of the pack, and that plays into Kevin King's strategy if he's going to drive through. As yeah, I like what he's doing right now, battling with Nelson Rivera, and he slots into the top 5. Well, the two of them are still kind of jockeying as to who's going to hold that, but we got cars every inch of this racetrack.
Yeah, you mentioned the lap traffic getting in the way there. Fuller was able to get around Leah to take the lead back just a couple laps ago, and that's where you're seeing how they're running right now, 1-2. Of course, Dalton is still third, and then we have got a pile of cars here. Jatina aborts. He gets out of the way because obviously he's got a wounded wing, as they say, as they come up on the back of E.J. O'Rourke, and Jatina's actually coming to pit road, it looks like, so he might be thinking more for the safety of himself and the others out there on the track, just kind of getting out of the way and getting off the track here. And sucks to see that situation with him, but hopefully he gets better. But you know what? Maybe he just crossed the line or something, because he's not on pit road, I don't think.
Yeah, I saw
he is on pit road. Never mind, he is. Or he might have drove through pit roads what he was doing, so.
I had a momentary conversation of a substitute driver. He was going to come up here in the booth with you, and I was going to at the last minute, he decided to carry it through, and good on him. I told him, you know, you need a little Ricky Rudd in you. Take those eyeballs and get to it, my friend.
Hey, I remember during Kevin Harvick's career, there was a time where his leg from the sciatic nerve or something from the seat actually went numb, and it was so numb it was hurting. They actually put Kyle Petty in the car during that race. I think it was like 2005-ish or something like that. So it'll happen here. And of course, back in the heyday, substitute driver might have been a drinking word. I mean, there were people back in the day that would sub like 3 different times into people's cars. They'd get in the car, get back out, the other guy'd get back in, then get into another car, get out, get back in. On the norm.
I kind of like this run Fuller's putting together here. He's back out front right now. He picked up the lead over Donnie Leah, and he's carving his way through the traffic. As that Toyota looks like it's pretty good. These guys who have figured out how to run the high line, they're both fast and saving tires, and I think that's going to play off for them in the long run.
Yeah, it's all about getting in a rhythm here as we watch the battle for 13th. Scott Simley, Mark Jorgensen, Richard Beasley, who's up from 27th here, trying to dive into the top 15 here. As Beasley looking pretty good here in this number 10. Yeah, the comers and goers, as they like to call themselves. All right, so now we've been green since lap number, what was it, about 16 or so, if I remember correctly, somewhere early in the race. So we're at lap 70 now. When? I mean, you almost have to. I don't even know if when's a good question tonight, Kev. I think tonight's more like, do you go as far as you can before you pit because of the way the pit road's set up?
I think you're looking at your competition and measuring yourself. If you start to drop it and people are start buzzing by you, then I think you're going to pull off whenever. And as soon as one comes, the rest of them are going to go because they don't want to give it up.
I asked that question because a green flag pit stop here with the pit road set up the way it is, you're losing 4 laps, 3 or 4 laps. I think because of that standpoint right there, I'm going to do everything I can to be the last car to pit.
Yeah, and at 40 laps, you're kind of screaming at yourself, God, I wish I could pit right now.
Right.
I don't know, you know, sometimes you get in that, like, zen moment where you just keep buzzing around and you take what the car gets you. You float it in the corner, wait till it turns, turn it down, step on the gas, drive off. And even though you're slowing down, the lap still feels the same, lap after lap after lap. And so you don't really realize how you're doing compared to everybody else. And if you're out front, like Justin Fuller is right now, you just keep going.
Brandon Massey off the pace here. Yep, go ahead.
You watch the 14 who has fresh tires drive around them. And that will be an incentive to say, well, I've given up too much time. But right now, it's got a decent gap over Donnie Leah.
Saw Jobs coming to pit road. Brandon Massey on pit road. Likely unscheduled pit stops, I'd say here. Maybe not, as Blundell's, well, for about 4 seconds was on pit road. Maybe that was just, whoa, contact. Jorgensen gets a little free there. He got doored by Simley, and then Chad Coleman was right on his bumper, and it turned him to the infield. Great save on his part as we stay green. As Josh Parker trying to get around him now, but the 88, what a big save.
Parker going to capitalize on that, as there's quite a big stack up here of cars, slow and fast, right in front of your leader. And a lot of drivers realize the leader's out back. They're getting notifications of that from their spotter, and they're going to pick up the pace a little bit. They don't want to go a lap down. They know how hard it is to get a lap back at this racetrack. And oh man, this mess right in front of Fuller is going to be keeping him up at night, as he has to imagine that there's trouble brewing right here in River City.
Patrick Colby's on pit road also now, so we're starting to see some pit stops, some cars that are definitely throwing the risky business out there. ZJ O'Rourke, unfortunately, that modified is not driving well right now, as you can just see people trying to get around him there. Joey Jatina, he's got 4 balonies on that car as he's trying to kind of work his way through this traffic and being very patient.
Here we go, right in front of the leader. One turned around. Fuller gets into the back of Jorgensen. That was a 3-wide issue forced by the fast 43 of Joe Hudson.
And it looks like Nick Jobs might be the caution, as he has crashed over there in that area. And for those cars that just came to pit road, this is that risk. You've got cars now 3 and 4 laps down over here. Their race just ended, pretty much just like that. How much I hate to say that, but they're going to need this to become a wreck fest to probably make up those kind of laps. And let's face it, in Sim 500, that doesn't happen often. Let's see, it's, the 25 battling here, 3 wide. Leaders are right behind them. Comes off the corner here, and a little squeeze job there with the 43. Nice job by the 7 to get around that. Leah with a nice miss, and nice job by Jobs to keep it off the outside wall.
Yeah, 2 taps there from your leader, kind of knocking him through so he could try and drive through it.
I mean, that turned into what could have been a pileup, ends up being a 1-car spin, and no contact really anywhere here. But the 43 kind of in a bad spot there, going up the middle with Jorgensen right there, and they just squeezed together here.
Like the 88 came up there. Did you see that?
It did, yeah. I think it was a mix of him coming out, like a squeeze play almost, if you will.
Yeah, and if you're the 43 or any of these other guys, you know your leader's right there, and if he gets lapped, unfortunately, that's not going to go well. So they're going to hustle, and Fuller, fortunate, able to pop his way through that one, and he heads to pit road for 4 fresh tires, and this is going to make the car feel like Superman after they change out those Goodyears.
Everybody on pit road here is they got all of the pits being used pretty much here. Should be 4 tires and fuel. They got to stay at 35 miles an hour. Excuse me, all the way at the top of the screen. And then onto the front stretch pits as they come all the way back around here. And who will be the first one off pit road easily? Fuller. Looks like Kevin Stone just came on pit road there, but wait a minute, it's a faster? No, he just got past there. So it looks like Fuller's going to be the leader. Benfield is up there, but I think, I don't know. I'm a little confused. Either way, Fuller is the leader off pit road, but I'm timing and scoring here with the pit stops are kind of thrown off a little bit here. So
yeah, so far Fuller has stayed up front. We'll see when they come across the stripe here whether he leads this lap or they pick up somebody else. But yeah, it looks like Fuller is going to maintain even through the pit cycle out there. You know, you look in front of him, what are all these cars behind the pace car? You've got the 28, the 21, which is O'Rourke, Joey, the 74 of Werpin, and the 4 of Montesi, along with the 04 of Doug Sigmund. All of them going to take a drive around. I believe they probably all are in the position where they had fresh tires, and so they can go get a lap back by riding around. And now, well, look at this. We got about half the field divided almost. Not quite half, but back to 28th is lapped. Right, 27th, Mike Montesi, last car on the lead lap.
So obviously, unless cautions come out now, we are to the point where we're not going anymore. We don't have any more pit stops. So it's literally from here to the finish now. on fuel. It's just a matter of tires and the pit strategy if it comes into play and so on and so forth. But pace car lights are off as we are going to come back here to the green flag at lap number 88. Appreciate the viewers, by the way, who have watched tonight. Kip Cook, of course, cheering the Faster Pastor on. Miss Weeks, the representative of the Ancient World Gaming crew. Matthew Cloquet cheering on Beasley as we go back green here with Justin Fuller and Brian Macklin up front here at Bristol. 89 laps in, and you know what? I think it's a good time to turn it up here. As my stepmom once said, let's not and say we did. As caution comes out, as Nelson Rivera, EJ O'Rourke have gone around over here on the back straightaway. I saw heavy damage on the 43 of Joe Hudson. Cannot say we did not try. But let's...
That saved Kevin Stone. He was out of the pits just as the field was rolling around turn 4 to take the green. He was only about a quarter straightaway ahead of Justin Fuller. And yeah, his spotter was screaming debris and other things, trying to get a caution. As that saved Kevin from going down a lap.
Yeah, Hudson gets a piece of it. EJ O'Rourke, Jatina gets a small piece. Somebody coming in here. Here come the leaders coming in hot. Whoa it up, boys. Whoa it up. Let's see. Something just didn't look right here. Oh, everybody in the back here trying to get lined up. I wonder, did Rivera maybe have a penalty or something because he had to start behind? The 69 car just doesn't go, which doesn't help things. And then, yeah, it just tags the 43. And Rivera gets loose on his own. And, I mean, I don't know if that's just a lack of awareness or what the deal is here. Let's go on board with...
We missed a gear.
I mean, Blundell just didn't go. He's letting everybody go by. There's the green flag, and he's just hanging way back here.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, well, that's on Joe for sliding down in front of him, but...
Didn't quite get him clear. Misjudged the speed, apparently.
I mean...
42, Scott Stenzel is the lucky dog. He's going to drive around and come back to the lead lap.
I'm not going to sit there and criticize somebody, but it's just like, I always... When you got somebody laying back like this, I don't know, again, if he's letting people by and that's the reason for it or whatnot, but it's like when you don't get up to speed, that's where trouble happens, and unfortunately, this happens.
Hey, it could be that he has some sort of damage and the car just won't go. Maybe a wheel broken or something.
So apparently, according to Barber Opinion, Stoney had damage, wheel damage on his car at lap 12. And just now getting it fixed, so he was involved in an earlier caution.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So, according to...
Fuller, Macklin, King, Calantoni, and Donnie Leah, your top 5 here. And it's looking for Josh Parker. He has not made his way into the top 10 here tonight. Chris, I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, he's hanging out 14th, and I think part of that, I mean, that long green flag run, it's, you know, he needs a few of these yellows to take some of these people in front of him, or at least to get a couple restarts, and I think he'll be up there, but... obviously, that long run for about, 60 laps that was just now. Obviously playing a big role in that, but you'll say you got people coming down pit road getting their whatever damage they can get fixed, and we should get one to go this time by. And let's actually step away and hear from 811 real quick, come back, and we'll get you a restart at lap 95 here from Bristol.
When do you plan on putting in that new fence we've been talking about since last summer?
I guess I could start tomorrow.
Protect the ones you love and protect your buried utilities by contacting 811 before you dig, either by phone, the web, or the NC811 app. Know what's below before you dig. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, pace car pulling off as we're back from Bristol, lap 95, as Fuller topside takes the green right there. Macklin second. Anthony Calantoni, Kevin King, your top 4. Mike Kelly up to the 5th position there. A lot cleaner of a restart this time by.
Yeah, right now everybody kind of minding their P's and Q's. You could see the distance between the inside and outside cars. They roll around the racetrack, and as long as, again, they let the tires come up to temperature, I think we can get back into the rhythm here.
How about that guy right there? I'm sorry.
Off the backside wall, as I say that.
Everybody okay? I was about to give a shout out to Eric Arnold, who is riding right there in the 7th now position. He just lost a spot to Tyler Dalton, but he's sitting there on the bottom side right there. That outside choo-choo train's going to go around him, I think, right now. But Arnold having a good run here so far in the 9th position right now in that 31 car.
Patrick Blundell on pit road, taking his Ford in for some service.
Diego Sainz watching. Talking about a pretty good driver right there in Diego. As Arnold about wrecked it off turn 2. He's having all types of issues now all of a sudden.
That's no man's land down there.
He was trying to catch it for that whole entire lap.
I know sometimes, like Darlington, you use the apron, but not this racetrack.
No, do
You
not.
don't want to be, when it's not white, you don't want to be down there.
The quote we should use here is from the great Bugs Bunny. Don't go down there, it's dark.
Fuck. Yeah.
Oh, Mike Kelly digging in the bottom lane. He was on the apron just now getting loose. And he's still
This is
getting
just
loose.
Hustle in that car. Hustle in
Oh,
that
oh.
car. Oh.
We're owing because we're watching people hit the wall, we're watching people hit the apron, we're watching, I mean.
every lap somebody comes up and tags the outside wall out of turn 4. We see the dust flying. Well, these guys are up on the wheel, and you know, you can get the tires hangry. Right rear tire gets angry like the 2 of Kelly, or you know, you're down on the bottom, and like I said, when you're under somebody, you try to get alongside.
Oh, one car stopped on the bottom. Lundell stopped on the bottom here. Caution comes out. He's actually towed back. I'm pretty sure people are not going to be happy with that. But he was stopped over here on the bottom of the track on the apron and towed back to pit road. And caution going to come out. Hard to cut you off there.
No, that's all right. I saw him stop down there. I was trying to figure out what happened, and then he towed.
Oh, he blew the motor. Motor blew going into turn 1.
Oh, okay.
He just stopped the car in the back straight. I'm surprised he didn't just let it coast back to, like, just get to one of the pit roads and just get off the track. But
And roll down at the end of the straightaway.
Yeah, instinct
in
there.
the moment, you do what you do.
Instincts,
you know?
right. No, I agree with that 100%. But
Get yourself off the racetrack.
wow, tough break there. I was about to compliment though, Mr. Calantoni is up to P2, but look at this move. Oh, he faked him. I was about to say we were about to bust out Cotton, but Kevin King pulled back on track.
He's down there waving to the pit crew, looking for a hot dog or something. Yeah.
Montesi's going to come to pit road.
Whites of their eyes.
Yeah, right. A couple people in the back here: Montesi, Stenzel, Benfield.
Good to give up a top 10 here, Mike Montesi. I don't think that's a bad move. We're sitting at 105, and it's not out of the question to run 80 laps or so. And if you have fresh tires, the next pit stop, everybody's going to go, and you will cycle to the front. I think that's probably not a bad call for that 6.
No, if you're at the back, why not? Try something different here and see if you can gain some track position from it. You'll have some fresher tires here to see what you can do with it when it's all said and done.
Couple cheerleaders of this kind of situation. You got O'Rourke, Colby, Jatina, Brian Wertman. They're all one lap down. They like these quick succession of cautions as it puts them back into the mix.
As we're
And
107.
O'Rourke,
Yeah.
he continues to fix that thing, the 21.
That's how you not give up. Yeah. Now, you mentioned those names, and I mean, right now we're sitting at 26 cars on the lead lap. Rod Mitten, the first car a lap down here in his 92 in the 27th position. And he's only a lap down now, and these are the guys that were on pit road a little bit ago during that green flag run. So they're just trying to make up laps here and get back into competition. And as you know, the leaders, I mean, the more yellows we get here, the less chances they're coming to pit road here.
Yeah, and if I'm Mitten, what I'm trying to do is, 1, leave a lot of space and wait for the caution, and 2, not be the caution.
Yes.
Sometimes these guys get racing for that lead lap position and they end up wrecking each other and it all goes sideways. So you have the race within the race for these guys, 5 or 6 of them that are one lap down. And sometimes you could just be patient and wait for the next one and not put yourself in a perilous position. Can you tell I spend a little time racing sometimes?
You might.
Just a little. The way my race has been going this year, yeah.
Yeah, we all have our rough patches, as we say. So, all right, get ready to come back to green with 71 laps to go here at the last great Coliseum, virtually on iRacing. Appreciate everybody joining us here tonight on this Monday night as we race Sim500's NC811.org Cup Series as Fuller pulls away, takes the inside lane that time as Calantoni runs second and see if he's still at the quarter panel of Macklin. Macklin gives him the room, which should give Calantoni the second position, but he's going to want to get up there quick. Kevin King on that outside lane. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. So Macklin will move up to the third position as Kevin and Donnie Leah and Tyler Dalton and Chad Coleman hanging out here. How about Jose Gonzalez running there in that Mountain Dew Spark machine? And then you got a line of WBD cars.
Yeah, thinking about Kevin King, he's sick of being bridesmaid.
Oh, yeah.
He's been the biggest sore thumb all season long because he just can't get to that spot. And again, he puts himself in the position for a win here tonight, running top 5 at Bristol. And, you have to wonder whether he's saving something or letting these guys go, or he's just pacing himself. Still, 112 of 180, there's quite a bit of time. But yet you don't want to let them get away should this run green. So he's got to measure himself, as does Macklin and Calantoni, and don't count out Donnie Leah. He had such a strong run in those first 2 sprints. If I have to match kind of speed, talent, and driving style, King and Leah, they're like bookends, those 2.
Yeah, you do not want to...
Brothers from another mother.
Good way of putting it, but also you do not want to hold back on somebody who's got short track experience. Like Leah does, and obviously has shown what he can do on a short track. So don't hold back on him as he runs in the 5th position. As you mentioned, Fuller, who calls himself probably a short track guy. He's admitted many times, including last night after his win at Dover, he says, I'm a short track guy at heart. And here he is tonight at Bristol, led the most laps here this evening and looking to sweep the Sunday and Monday night races here.
I'm almost afraid to say this, but look at Chad Coleman running 7th. He was mired way in the back as we got
Montesi, oh no, up into the 92.
Yeah, he's got to draw a caution.
Yeah, he was turned one way and then got turned back the other way.
And Minton, who was we were talking about him running, he got snagged in that. As we go back to caution here on lap 117.
117 complete as the champ is in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro Mojica joining us again tonight as he sits back, probably cuddling with his 2023 trophy from the Cup Series. Not that that's awkward or anything. I mean, we've seen photos of, like, who is it? Austin Cindric with the Daytona 500 trophy in bed with him.
Yeah.
We've seen them all. So I will not judge if Mr. Mojica has the Cup Series trophy with him right now. Just saying. And look at... Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Cotton. We got a bold one here. Leaders.
Okay, look. Well, they're all going to pit road.
Except for Fuller.
Wow, that has got to be a difficult one to swallow for Mr. Fuller because... 1, he's on old tires, and 2, he's got to come at some point. And everybody behind him made that left-hand turn.
Everybody but, let's see, Gonzalez, Mons, Stenzel, and Montesi's on that list, but he's got damage, and Van Schaik all on pit road right here.
Being a little too far forward there, isn't he? No, they're going to take him.
Yeah.
That's about the whisker. RevGrips.com.
Ooh, 2 tires.
Down the way, 2 tires. That's an interesting call.
After last week, he's like, no, I ain't getting bitten by this one again.
Yeah.
So, Now, let's go back to this. I was trying to show the caution, but unfortunately didn't have the highlight on it, so I got to go back and actually manually do this real quickly. But let's go to Montesi, who's had a unfortunate rough night. As soon as I find his name somewhere on here. He's in the 5th position. He's actually staying out here. Oh, right there. Arnold gets turned with Joey Stone, and then just a checkup. Scott Stenzel gets a piece of it. But Joey Stone actually got turned a little bit there, and it was just a big checkup. Somebody lost their nose. That would be Mitten.
I thought Minton was in the lucky dog spot, but I could be wrong.
I think you're actually right on that.
And that means they wouldn't issue.
Well, they
a lucky
will.
dog.
They'll go to the next car.
Oh,
It'll be the next car. Unlike NASCAR, yes, they don't do it if that car is originally involved. But here,
Charles Van Schaik, maybe?
I think you're right. I think you are correct.
How about this run for Fuller? It's pretty impressive to be out front, hold back the talent that's sitting on his back bumper, but I'm afraid his cars about to get punched. I have to believe that fresh tires are going to really create havoc for him. And now what he needs to do is just race his way to the next caution.
Well, we're riding on board with him right now. Looking back, you got Gonzalez, you got Mons, you got Stenzel, who was just in that wreck with damage. You got Montesi with damage, who was just in that wreck. Kevin King's your first on tires of any sort of 2 tires. Sits right here in the 29 car in the 6th position here. And then you got Macklin here in 7th, and then Calantoni in 8th with 4 tires. So if you're Fuller, you're going straight Monty Python in a Holy Grail mode here and run away. Get out. Go. And, see if he can get out in front of these guys, because the Hounds are going to try to pounce on these guys here on this restart.
Well, from the other perspective, all these guys sitting right there behind him, they want a quick caution so they can get the runaround, because they're pretty sure that Fuller's going to go to pit road.
I'm more
This next round, right?
Well, I'm more worried about the 42 and the 4 just being involved in that wreck, and they've got damage, and now they're starting in front of these fast cars.
Well, I guess Gonzalez, he's going to stay there, right?
Yeah, he said, well, that's the 2nd place here. Gonzalez 3rd, Mons as we go back racing. Here we go. And already going to see 3 wide as King shoots the middle.
Yeah, Kevin's going to waste no time here to try and drive up and jackrabbit away from these guys.
This is going to be tricky, boys. Some contact between Macklin and Calantoni.
Macklin trying to scoop in that hole. I think that was a gift from Calantoni letting him in there. I tell you, that is elbows up racing right now.
Well, I'm just stuck here watching right now. It's King up to 3rd.
I can't believe that Fuller was able to get away like he is. I guess
Well, give it a couple laps, because you got to remember the tires cool down here. So once these tires get up to temp is going to be when they're able to get to Fuller quickly. 3 wide back in the back there where the 9 is. How'd they not wreck?
It's getting down to it. We're lap 127, my favorite number, and these drivers now are winding down, and it's go time. You're gonna take a little more.
Down Tony with a little squirrely.
He's kicking a field goal.
Going to lose a few positions back to the 8th spot right now. So unfortunately for him, the fresh tires are not paying off for him. Kevin King up to 2nd, just got by Gonzalez, and now trying to chase down that 51 car.
How about this run for Scott Stenzel? 25 positions, currently holding that 6th position down and coming forward.
Yeah, he was just involved in that wreck a minute ago, and I'm surprised how far he's been able to last up here. He's doing a great job with it. And the reason why you heard me yikes is because of Mons and Beasley about coming together there.
Yeah, Mons scraped the number off the side of the car on the front stretch walls. There's Bobby Wetzel against the front wall, and he got tagged in the back by Glenn Campbell. Let me help you a little bit.
King is there, gets it in the back of Fuller. That's his. That was the. See, there's 3 knocks. The first one is the "Hello, I'm here." The second one normally is "Okay, you're in my way." The third one is normally "You are now the caution." Are you okay?
Not 3 times. They are on the ceiling.
Oh,
here.
around goes Beasley. Front straightaway
no.
here. Beasley. Up. Ferrari gets him. And now Jurgensen jumps in here.
Punk, punk, punk.
That actually is the
Single,
caution Fuller
double.
needs right there.
Oh, now will he come in?
I think you have to if you're Fuller. You got 45 laps to go still. Plenty of time. Let's see what happens here.
Get loose off the corner? No.
Sends it down. Oh, he's trying to slide her there, but the back end came around on him. And then the back end really comes around on him. Catches Kelly, and then Parker center punches him. I think Beasley was trying to do a slide job there, and it totally failed when he realized, oh, there's still somebody there. Because if you watch him, his back end comes around here as he tries to go into 3 and 4. Now right here, he's clear. He's going to get in the run, gets to his bumper.
He's got to run down the bank.
Right, and then right here, he tries to slide it in. Back end comes around there, and he's not clear, so he's got to get out of it. And unfortunately there, the back end just swings around. And bam, there's Parker with the T-bone steak.
I think that's one of those, the car's coming up the banking. Oh, no, I'm not going to be able to stay off them. And you turn it left, and the car just does that lazy crawl. As Kevin King on pit road.
And Fuller stayed out.
And Fuller's out.
All right, so this is King on 2 tires, you got to remember.
Yeah, maybe he didn't like it, but he was just about to turn under for the win here. So, or for the lead. I'm kind of surprised. So you know what he did? Right side tires going on, and it's
Going 4 tires here. So he's got that. And now correct me if I'm wrong. He only has left sides left. From the 2 tire shop.
At 140.
I'm just saying, if you go another 20 laps and a caution comes out, you're at 160, and you have nothing to work with.
Did he go through the end of the pit lane there? Exit when the pit was closed?
It's a good question.
When I saw him come across the line, the lights were red. And you have to wait for the entire field to cruise through and look at the indicator, and it'll tell you when the pit lane opens and you can come up to the racetrack. And I saw him drive past those red lights, which would mean, and I see it, end of longest line. I see all the cars rolling around him. So yeah, Kevin had the right pit strategy, but I believe he got flagged there for exiting a closed pit.
That would
Yep,
be...
they're having the conversation, and I'm pretty confident that that is the call. Officials nabbed him for closed pit.
Wow. So that's going to hurt him a little bit more here, because we're sitting now with roughly 26 cars on the lead lap, and he's going to start tail end of the longest line, I believe, is that penalty.
And you know, I think we've buried the lead here. Look who's running in 8th. We have not talked about him yet. Cody Giles.
Yeah. He fell back
He's
early.
7 points.
Yeah, he fell back early in this race, and was running somewhere 15th to 20th, and has just slowly worked his way back up with strategy, and has done a great job.
Yeah, how does that happen? You come in here as a relative unknown, and you're in second place to Kevin King, and Kevin just made a mistake, and we might see him exit here as the point leader coming out of Bristol.
Which he would be the second points leader in Sim 500 this season to be a rookie, as Stephen Miles led the Xfinity points a couple weeks ago as a rookie. As we go back green, lap 141. Kevin King restarted back in the 20th position. He is in an S back here.
Now the question lies, what does Justin Fuller have for these guys? As he's under attack out of turn number 4, it's side by side going across the line as Macklin down underneath, draws even, trying to draw ahead out of turn 2. It's a drag race down the back straightaway. Fuller able to hold ahead. He's still running hard off that outside line as they're running neck and neck coming off the corner, and right behind him, looking for the opening is the 20 of Donnie Leah.
Of course, Fuller pitted at lap 85. Then you got this whole crew of cars right here pitted at lap 120. The first car on new tires from this caution is Josh Parker in 14th. Fuller Field must be confident thinking he can hold that top line.
Yeah, it is so hard, even with fresh tires, to make that pass down on the bottom because you're pinching the car down so much. And that's going to cost Macklin as he's going to slip back to third here. And here comes Chad Coleman, going to make it a 4-car battle as they go into turn number 3 and out of turn 4 to the front straightaway. It is 4 cars under a blanket here at Bristol. Lap 147, and we're getting down to the bottom of this. Is wow,
Donnie.
sideways. It's Donnie Leo off the corner making the charge. To the
Slider. Nope, not there. Good job by holding it down there. I thought at first he was going to throw one.
I think that's it. When you get past the door,
He's
next
trying.
corner, you can exit.
Oh, squeezing against the wall.
This is it. One lap, next lap, and by the third one, you generally can execute the pass if you can hold the speed.
He's not clearing. Donnie almost needs to maybe run up there with Fuller and then turn down, you think? Or is... Oh, he got him here. Slide up.
Here. You'll be right here. Third lap.
No, it did not go well.
And oh wow, gets turned. Oh, there's going to be some conversation about that one for sure. Donnie is not going to be happy.
Justin ain't going to be happy either, I think.
I don't think so, but he's holding his position here as Macklin snuck around and picked up the lead on that exchange.
Leah's going to come back to pit road. Nope, he's going to come back out. Oh, man. That's
hard racing. That's what that is. Byproduct of hard racing. There's going to be some hard feelings following that hard racing. I really thought he was clear and was going to come out.
I mean, he is clear right there.
Yeah. There's a little tiny bit of a wiggle, and you know when he's looking out the front windshield there, just going, I don't believe it. All that work I did, and I just gave it all back.
Was that hesitation the difference? It's almost like he throws a little hesitation right here. Like, here, just slide up, you're clear. But he just kind of edges up there and bam.
Car got a little wiggle, just a little, and it might have cost him the speed that caused that incident. You saw just a little shake, ever so subtle.
Viewers, I'm going to let you guys in on this one. Let me know what you think on this. This was a wild one. And Fuller's staying out. I think his bed's made.
I think his bed's made, too. I think he's kind of banking on, I can hold that top line, and I don't know if you're Fuller, you have to put yourself in his headspace. He comes off the corner and he can't lift. He's going to end up going back to 5th. He doesn't want to give up an inch of track position. And if he's got to drive through you to maintain his gap, he's going to do it. And, well,
I think, Pedro just said in chat, too. He said just didn't move up quick enough. I kind of agree with that a little bit. But you almost wonder if Leah, maybe you said he got loose a little bit there as you caught it. Maybe it's a matter of, not wanting to go up too fast and then you hit the wall. Man, it's a tough call to make in this situation. But Brian Macklin taking advantage. And look at this. It actually gave Donnie his spot back. Or is he a lap? Never mind, he's a lap down. He's right here behind the 51 car because Calantoni's up to 3rd. I was going to say, I saw the 20 behind him. But no, he'll send him to the back here.
He'll
so.
have to go back, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a Kevin King fan, 17th, he only got 3 positions, but he's back there in the hornet's nest, and laps are ticking off. These yellow lap Chris's are going to burn opportunity for some of these guys.
Oh, yeah, because it takes a while to get your tires up to temp. And until you do, the older tires actually pay off for you here. So this is going to get interesting the more yellows we get here. But I was going to say, do you have your ears on over there? Or is there anything being said in chat? Or
no, there was a couple comments sideways, and then it slowed down.
Okay.
And I think everybody's just taking a...
All righty then.
I like the names that I see in this top 10. Makes for an interesting race. Bobby Wetzel He's had an interesting evening. He's up here in the top 10.
A lot of these cars have had some kind of damage from these wrecks. I mean, Campbell's up here. Josh Parker just center punched the 10 a few minutes ago. He's up here the 9th. Scott Simley up to 10th. Newest on this set of tires, by the way. Mike Kelly will restart 21st, hitting at 152. So we have 4 different tire strategies now here.
I gotta say, sometimes you get yourself in the back and you get this extracurricular activity in positions 2 to 10, and next thing you know, you're running in the top 5 at the end of this thing. So it's hard to say if it's going to play out that way.
As Macklin leads him off turn 4 here. Fuller there. Calantoni getting a little free. And look here. Here comes David Comstock into the picture. Haven't said his name all night. And he just sneaks up in here. Cody Giles up to 4th as Fuller tags the wall just a little bit off 2. This is going to be a good challenge as Calantoni slides up in front of Dalton. Dalton might have cut him a break there.
And Calantoni got absolutely sideways. 2 of them have been like bumper to bumper all race long. As here comes the 81 underneath them. Josh Parker to the top 5. Trying to make that bottom lane work. Didn't quite get past the 84 of Calantoni, who's hanging tough to the outside. Fuller against the outside wall.
There's a slider from Parker. He's got him clear if he gets up there. And he does move up there. Calantoni cuts him a break. So good pass there from Parker as Fuller continues with the older tires to try to get the Macklin. The longer this run goes, though, I think the more Fuller's in trouble. But still credit to him for almost, 40 lap, 35 lap older tires here.
Yeah, these guys are ripping the lip right now, and the one driver that's coming forward. Oh! Leaning against the 44 of Campbell is the 29 of Kevin King. He's now on the back bumper of Tyler Dalton, having moved around Campbell. Dalton moves down to cover the lane, trying to hold up the progress of King. King gets down underneath him. He ducks in, and that 29 is hooked up right now.
He knows something there. That's
He's
impressive.
far left down there on the bottom. You know, when you're running nose to tail with the stack, and the stack is lifting and trying to cover with somebody like Fuller out front, you run the bottom.
Oh, Wetzel turns and around goes Mons with him. Caution back out.
164 laps. This is going to get interesting.
I agree. All right, let's see what takes place here.
I believe there might have been a Mons involved in that, because I just heard Mr. Wetzel say, "I'd like to have a little chat with you, Mr.
Yes,
Mons."
Mons was involved as he gets in there pretty deep.
Yeah.
And he kept it down, but the problem is the angle Mons was at. Wetzel come off the corner and comes back down into him. But,
well, that's that drive down from the bottom, and you don't expect somebody to stick their nose down in that far, I guess.
I think Mons was just trying to make a move here, I think, on Yoakum.
He really sent it in, though.
Yeah, he did. I almost wonder if Mons thought that the 9 would be further ahead and he would be able to slide in front of Randy. But that's just, yeah, unfortunately.
That's one of those things when you're Bobby Wetzel where you've run 17 laps in the same line. Go in, let the car roll up to the center, turn it down, drive down the banking, and you're in the tire prints of the car in front of you for 17 laps. And then next thing you know, you're tagged in the door and somebody gets you around.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could understand why that might not be appreciated. When you're going to slide your car up like that, you have to make a principle to know that that car on the outside is coming down.
I mean, you don't think Mons was trying to get 2 for 1 there, was he?
No, I think he might have misjudged it and let the car roll up a little more. Maybe he didn't think the 9 was going to turn down. Hard to say what the spotter is going to tell you in that situation.
Yeah.
It just two cars coming for the same real estate, but if I'm the 9, that is going to be frustrating. Race as hard and long as it is when you get to lap 160 something to get tagged in the door and sent to the back.
Well, tough break there for Mons and Wetzel as they bring out the caution. And we're going to go green here. Close to, I think, 10 laps to go in this race.
And I have to say, know what's below.
Yeah.
Kevin King.
No
he was digging
kidding.
on the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, he was coming, and if I were these guys out front, I'd be looking out that left window and maybe doing. It was Tyler Dalton who pulled down to block the run a little bit. He might have held him back for a lap, but man, Kevin's car is really hooked up down there.
We're going to go green with 11 laps to go as Brian Macklin looks to get that first win of the season, and it'll be the first time in 4 seasons that he had not won the Daytona race. So this is the latest he's to have won a race if he's able to pull this off. Fuller looking to sweep the weekend. Josh Parker looking to sneak into victory lane after starting 38th. David Comstock. Can Cody Giles go to victory lane for the first time? And then Kevin King, can he finally go to victory lane this season? As here we go. Giles not the best restart back there in the 3rd row.
I just can't believe that Fuller has held on the way he has with the tires. I'm just, that is an amazing accomplishment at this juncture.
Well, all the experience he has on a short track, I'm not surprised, as he has definitely shown tonight he's pretty good on this style of racing. Track 3 wide back at Kevin. Up the middle he goes. Gonna pass Giles.
Just did not go.
Yeah.
Kevin didn't have time to wait for that. Drove right through the middle.
Cody might have a long run car setting, and unfortunately, 11 laps in the long run. Fuller under attack from Parker for second now.
Good recovery for Kevin King to come back here for a possible top 5.
Yeah, he battles underneath Calantoni, but something tells me this is not over yet.
Well, I'll tell you, the driver sitting there in 4th needs this. David Comstock
Yes.
has not had a great season, and this would be a happy return for him to the top 10. Yeah, just going to show how hard it is to make that pass on that bottom line, but every gain that the 81 gets gobbled back up as the 51 roars down the straightaway. But don't look now, here comes King underneath the 13 of Comstock. He's able to slide up a little bit, which is going to allow him to open up the entry to the corner. He's going to draw alongside as they are side by side for 4th as Parker completes the pass, drops Fuller to 3rd. This will be interesting.
Yeah, here comes King, slides it down there as Fuller almost got the wall. He clears Comstock.
King to 3rd.
Can he clear him though? Not clear.
He'll hold it down this time and make sure that he's clear. Not going to do that again. Now he's clear. Still left the lane.
Now he's clear, so he can slide up here.
He can let up and use the racetrack.
So Kevin King up to 3rd, Fuller back to 4th, 2 laps to go. Can Parker get to Macklin? And we got lap cars up ahead, including Donnie Lee in the 20 car. As we come to the white flag, final lap.
Parker, he's going to try and do a little slide job here. He's going to be a little too
late.
And
Donnie just wrecked back there as Macklin comes across the line and wins it. Fuller, I think, got involved with Donnie Leah. And Fuller ends up 7th. But Brian Macklin wins here at Bristol and gets his first win of the season as Bristol fireworks go off here, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that'll earn you a trip to the Sim500 hauler. Well, if you're going to leave it in Bristol, then you take care of it while you're there. And you drive on out and go on to win the next race. That's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
That's the functional equivalent of just go down and punch him in the nose.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it in iRacing, but just do it. I mean,
Yeah.
But you see the lung force on the car there of Macklin, that Camry, as he takes that 30 to victory lane here, and I think we would be yelled at by the viewers if we didn't go back and show what just happened here. So let's go do that, and it's going to be a minute here as I go scrolling up through the highlights.
I have to say that Brian Macklin, by my notes, was the 5th different leader, and I'm surprised how well the leaders did at holding out in the front. Did Kevin King lead a lap here tonight?
Believe he led earlier, did he not? I shall have to check on that.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll show up in the notes next week. Maybe I missed it, but Dalton, Fuller, Leah, and Macklin definitely led laps here tonight, and it was Macklin for the win. And waiting.
Wow, yeah, he got him all right.
I think I had a broken toe link or something. Just hooked it right in the middle of the straightaway.
Yeah, and it cost Fuller 3 positions in the end.
Well, and you hate to see that, but you like to see it in the context that Fuller was able to drive through it and able to finish the race.
Yeah.
After all the work he did, for what it's worth. Boys will be boys, but at least he did get across the finish line. And
Yeah, I'm sure all that'll get addressed and taken care of, but it's Bristol, baby. You know?
Memories like elephant.
Yeah, no kidding,
Is
right?
Willis stay in Bristol? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out next week. You got to come back and see.
Which next week's The Rock, so that ought to be interesting. As Macklin wins it, Josh Parker finishes second, Kevin King third, Anthony Calantoni fourth, and Tyler Dalton finishes fifth. David Comstock sixth. Fuller ends up seventh after that last lap contact. Yoakum eighth, Glenn Campbell ninth, and Rivera finishes 10th. Kevin Stone 11th, Richard Beasley 12th, Chad Coleman 13th, Cody Giles ends up 15th, or 14th, I should say, in the end. Falls back there, and unfortunately they're going to lose some points now after he thought he was going to gain some points when it was over with. Jose Gonzalez comes back to finish in the 15th position. As we look at the rest of the finishing order here, Van Schaik 16th, Matt Rodolasso finishing 17th, Stoney Benfield 18th, Joey Stone 19th, and 20th is Scott Simley, Mons 21st, Kelly 22nd, 23rd Scott Stenzel, 24th Bobby Wetzel, 25th Mike Montesi, 26th to Eric Arnold, EJ O'Rourke 27th, Jose Medina 28th, Rod Benton 29th, and Doug Sigmund 30th. Patrick Colby 31st, Joey Jatina 32nd, Brian Wortman 33rd, 34th Donnie Leah, 35th Robert Friery, and the rest of these cars had issues tonight. Jorgensen, Blundell, Hudson, Jobs, Massey, Livingston, and Ron Holyfield unfortunately involved in an early wreck. Took him out of his campaign here this evening. So, it's Bristol. Good comeback drive from the 29 car of Kevin King. We'll see if Kevin comes into unless this is him up. No, that's Parker. There's Macklin. Well, we'll just let you. We'll see if he comes back. But until then, we'll go ahead and let you talk to the second place finisher and Josh Parker.
So Josh Parker, second place here tonight, comes in right behind Brian Macklin. Josh, what did you need to get to that front position?
I was just talking to Brian. I think I had that little bit of damage I had from hitting Beasley. I think that cost me a little bit of speed to get there, but it ended up playing in my favor to have on 2 tires anyway, so I really can't be pissed that I finished second.
You can see the track. It certainly looked like a high side dominant, but you guys were able to, with a lot of work, pass down on the bottom. Look like challenging conditions out there. Talk a little bit about that and the tire wear.
Yeah, it seemed like it took a while for the bottom to start coming in. But when it did, everyone was just trying to get to the top to where they would check up, and you can, with the little bit of clean air you had where it mattered, you can keep up on the bottom and hopefully save a little bit of tire. So it just took a while for that to happen. And then the first run, I just started so far back. By the time I got to midfield, the right front was just burnt off of it.
Down the back straightaway for the last time, took that dive down in the bottom, tried to do a smidge of a slide job, just didn't come up. Would you have done that a little earlier? I know the Donnie Leah car was down there, kind of blocked your run with 2 to go.
Yeah, that kind of, I was confused on what was happening there, but that definitely, that arrow, that gave me a little arrow tight off too on the last lap. So that, or 2 to go, whenever we passed them. So that kind of, I won't say it cost me the race, but that was going to be my last shot was there. Once I kind of got to the side of Donnie, it's, just that got me too tight, and I couldn't get the run I needed to make a run for him on the last lap. But once that happened, it was just the last thing I had to do was dive bomb it in the 3 and see what happened. But I wasn't going to wreck him or anything.
How was the stability of the car or the tire wear? Were you wearing the left rear or something funny right front? What was going on with the tire wear tonight?
I hot lap as it is, but the right front was wearing so bad. I think at that first pit stop I was 48% in the right front and 88 on the right rear or something like that. It was crazy. So I was super tight. But as it rubbered up, it seemed to get a little bit better and turn a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I was driving hard the whole race to try to get track position.
Come in here tied 12th in points, and this is going to help your situation. You're tagged on the back of the twins there, Callum, Tony, and Dalton, who are putting in their top 10 work, and the 3 of you are climbing the ladder here. You got to be in the top 10 in points. Too early to worry about that?
I'm just gonna say yes because I never worry about it until the playoffs. That's why I start in the back. But it is good to run good. I mean, I was running good last week too until the late yellow and ended up getting wrecked on that last restart. So I've been top 5 every week, so I've been happy. And as long as I run good, I really doesn't matter where I finish until the playoffs start.
Yeah, 4 starts, 2 top 5s, 1 top 10. Not a bad way to get things underway here in the 811 Cup Series. So, how about it, Josh? Anybody want to say hello to?
Yeah, Wesley, WBD, Diecast, you guys were doing the broadcast. Joey, everyone at team name, Chad, Beasley, Comstock. Yeah.
There you go. Josh Parker, second place tonight here at Bristol. Anybody who could drive out of here with a podium's got to be happy. I know they all want to win, Chris, but if you can get a top 3 at Bristol, that's a good night's work.
Absolutely. And speaking of work, this guy here put in a lot of work here tonight as Kevin King finishes in the 3rd position here. Kevin, I'm sure there's probably some disappointment because you're not in victory lane tonight, but twice you come up through the field there. First time with 2 tires, second time with 4 tires, just coming up short though and finishing 3rd.
Yeah, this is it was a fun race for me. This is not a good racetrack for me for whatever reason. I went really early, easy the first run, thinking like tires would matter because I hadn't really done any laps, and went all the way to 12th. And then when I decided to maybe like push it, my right front flew off the car, and I didn't have any speed. So that was pretty alarming. I was like, oh my gosh, like the strat that I thought it was gonna work is not working. So. I think I made some moves the second run, decided to run the high line and adjust my brake bias pretty extensively. And then I decided to take 2, thinking like maybe, we'll see what happens. And it was pretty good. But I felt like that last stint, I thought he would pit, and he didn't. I thought more people would pit. But the biggest part was then I got a penalty on exit. It said I was exiting a closed pit, which I thought was really strange. But yeah, I mean, for 3rd, I will take it. Like I said, it's not my most fun track, my favorite track. I have hot lap speed, but not really long run speed. I burn the right front off, and yeah, I'll take it. Better second run, better 3rd run, but all in all, I was pretty ecstatic to get a 3rd out of that.
Good. No, and that's good to hear. And we did actually see the video, by the way. As a matter of fact, Kev mentioned it when we were watching you come off pit road. Kev's like, I think the lights were red at the end of pit road when he come off pit road, and and then we heard you say something. We're like, oh, I guess it was. But nonetheless, man, still obviously another good points night. Looked like at first it might not be so good of a points night, but you were able to get that bottom rolling there towards the end, and it lets you be able to stretch out that lead a little bit.
Yeah, I like I said, I dropped the brake bias a lot, like 10%, and it definitely helped me more so than I thought I would be able to run the bottom. I thought the bottom would be kind of the key for long run speed, just saving tires, and it ended up being. I felt like it was worse because the track temp was really hot, and I think you just kind of roasted the right front down there, and you almost needed the radius of the top to kind of help you with that. So I definitely struggled that first run, and I was like, you know what, let me just Hail Mary this brake bias and see if it'll fix itself. There's nothing else I could do, and it definitely was better. I felt like I had a lot more speed after that first run, and then I just tried some tire strategy just because I knew, I knew how hard it was going to be to pass. And once I got to Justin, he started to run the high line, and I don't think I was fast enough to kind of just roll the bottom. So I decided let's take two, or I think it took four at that point. See what happens, and then if I didn't have that penalty, I think it could have been a little different. But like I said, coming out of third. Which not my favorite track, I thought was really good. I would say this: kudos to all the racers. Every time I go to a Bristol race, it's always a terrible, terrible time for me. There's always wrecks and just yellows and just nonstop. It was boring. And it started out a little rough, but we cleaned it up pretty well. I mean, all things considered, I only think we had like maybe 6 yellows, but it felt like we had way more racing than yellows, which I thought was awesome. And shout out to Macklin. He was definitely fast. But yeah, I thought it was a good race overall.
Yeah, no, everybody did a great job here tonight. And let's see if I can get you a final number here for you right now. It is 10 cautions actually in the end. But still, I mean, for 10, I mean, at Bristol, you can't go wrong with that. So,
no, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, so no, great job on your end also. And send some shout outs whoever you like to. Yeah,
my buddy Brandon, who runs RevGrips.com, like I said, he does some cool stuff for mountain bikers. You guys for doing the broadcast, all the drivers putting on a good race, Joey for putting on the series. I have fun. I rush to get home every single time. I get home like 4 minutes before. I try to run some laps before the race. So it's a little bit of a struggle for my part, but I do have fun. I destroyed, in my mind, I finally beat Beasley. I'm pretty sure I was going to lap him again on pure pace, even though I was struggling. But he was in front of me today, and I moved him out of the way, and I was like, get out of here. So I can at least go back and say you were in the way. And I believe he self-spun, which is also something I can talk to him about. So like it's like a cherry on top. Finishing third and just being able to get a rise out of Beasley the rest of the night is going to be amazing.
I gotta off the air or something. I'll have to ask Beasley or ask what's the joke here, because I can tell there's like this inner thing, but it's kind of funny at the same time. So yeah, obviously, no, great job, man, and congratulations, and yep, and continue to be the points lead going to the Rock next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You too, buddy. Kevin King, the third place finisher tonight. I'm intrigued by that. I gotta hear what this rivalry is all about between them two. But Brian Macklin going to victory lane here tonight. Brian, hate to say this, man, but it's the latest you've been to victory lane in 4 years.
It's been a little while since I've been to victory lane. This was really cool. I mean, I will say I have one win in every season since 2020, so we're not doing that bad.
That is good.
No, but it has been a struggle. A lot of it's been self-induced. I've had a lot of bad luck and made a lot of mistakes, but I felt like I ran a fairly clean race all night. I didn't really get involved in anything. I wasn't really around a whole lot other than the Fuller and Donnie wreck there at the end, and just kind of played it smart and let the cautions kind of play how they were going to, and was able to get out front when it mattered.
Yeah, I was going to say you took advantage of that little RG-bargy between them two. And obviously, when you saw that wreck happen and you were able to take advantage, what were the first thoughts that came to your mind?
Well, the first thoughts that came to my mind were not to repeat what I did last Wednesday in the truck series, because I led 70 of the last 80 laps of that race, and then on the final restart, I threw it away. Luckily, I threw it away to my brother, so it's not like I lost to somebody that was, it hurt.
Right.
It was kind of cool. And turns out that we swept the weekend here at Bristol, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool deal to do there. Quick question. Talk about what's on your car there, Lung Force.
Yeah, so that's the American Lung Association. My grandmother passed away from lung cancer back in 2018. I've ran this car since before she actually passed away, or a version of this car. I do fundraisers around here locally where I try to raise money and have it all go to the American Lung Association. So I just run the car as in memory of her and to let everybody else know that if you're with somebody that's fighting lung cancer, that you're not alone and that we're looking for a cure and hopefully one day we get it.
Absolutely, man. That's well said. So cool to see that paint scheme out here and you putting awareness out there and cool to see you in victory lane here tonight. Obviously celebrating this win and send some shout outs to everybody like you, bud.
Absolutely. Got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thank Joey and everybody for putting on the series and just giving us the opportunity to do this. This is so much fun. Got to thank all my teammates. Fuller, obviously he had some issues there, but we kind of worked together before that happened to make sure that one of us was going to win the race. So I got to thank him for kind of helping out on the restarts and whatnot. And looking forward to, I think, where are we going next? Rockingham?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I like that track too. So hopefully we can go 2 in a row.
There you go, man. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations, bud.
Yeah, man. See you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Brian Macklin, winner tonight, as he and his brother sweep the 2 races here at Bristol this week. So congratulations to the both of them on getting the win here. And obviously from there, Kev, we head to Rockingham next week. Now, before we go there, we're going to go to the other southern track, and that being Darlington on Sunday. So how about those 2 races in 2 days? Darlington Sunday, Rockingham Monday. Going to be an interesting kind of a nostalgic old school feel with these cars. So looking forward to that. That's coming up 8:15 or so. I'll go on both times. Obviously, you got the Scalacast podcast that you can join us. I'm actually going to be working on that as soon as I get done here, getting it uploaded to start editing, and should have that up by tomorrow night for the part 1 or episode 12 of this week. And then episode 13 going to feature Sean Peachin coming up, recording on Tuesday and be released on Thursday. So as we talk about some things there. So make sure you go and download that podcast if you haven't already. It's on Spotify, on iHeartMedia, and of course Podbean. Kev, Bristol was Bristol, my friend.
Yeah, I this race had all that we wanted. It had long green flag runs. It had some elbows up, fun thing. I got to say hats off to Fuller for the amount of tenacity at Holden out front with the tire wear that we saw. We heard what Kevin said and others about tire wear. The fact that he held them off for so long really showed his abilities. And yeah, I know it didn't work out the way he wanted to, but he definitely showed them that he's a contender tonight. And if he continues to come back, I think he could knock off a couple wins and everything you ever want out of a Bristol race. It was perfect.
Well, the only thing I haven't seen yet is an actual... Wait, never mind. I'm not going to promote anything like that. I mean, we had 2 drivers mad tonight. I mean, come on. But no. Either way, yeah.
Bristol.
It is.
Somebody's mad.
It is Bristol, right? I mean, somebody, right. Exactly. So
mad with decorum, though. I have to say, Joey is the admin, always tells him, if you got a beef with somebody, call him out and tell him we're going to chat after the race. And that's exactly what I heard. So
well, we got one of those. I'm talking about the other one. Probably. we got 2.
Well, the message was delivered, right? I mean, say what you want. Message delivered.
Yeah. Well, one message was delivered through chat. The other message is getting delivered through, turn 4. So,
all good.
Yes, all good.
My book.
You and I are good, right? We don't have any issues?
Yeah, from the booth, it's all good.
Just making sure. All right. Let's go to the Rock next week. So you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. Joey, or Kevin, wow. Joey, I appreciate you. And then Kevin, I do appreciate you too for being here each and every Monday night for helping carry this team. So, yeah, I mean that too, by the way. Gives me a chance to take a deep breath because I get to do the other broadcast.
I'm going to poke you in the eye.
Hey, yeah. What I was going to say would be wrong with me right now. But no, this is the one broadcast I have another person with me all week. So it's like I get
nice.
I get to take that step back for a second, but no. Anyways, appreciate Kevin as always, as he does a great job here and has a great knowledge of this series. But we're gonna take off. Enjoy the rest of your Monday nights, and always remember this isn't just a game. Whew. We think at least. Tonight it's iRacing. See ya.
That was fun.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.